where the problem is, because the history of empathy is very rich, has not been given any kind of, has not become part of the mainstream epistemology. I mean, our understanding of the world has been constructed in this epistemology of either or, and that's where we're seeing this individuality versus. But I think we have to, that does not mean that the human being and people have not lived a life of empathy, have not lived a life of sharing. They did live. Saint Benedict talks very extensively about living in contradictions, and contradiction is somehow part of us. It's a part of being human, and part of being human as individuals, and also part of being humans as part of the larger groups of our society as well. So that contradiction that you were trying to fix, at least you're proposing that should be fixed. I don't know. That needs to be, I think, talked more about. I mean, talk more,
of course,
about it. Yeah,
of course.
But I would like to raise, this thing that to say that somehow there is no empathy, or there is no history of empathy in the human history is not right. It is there, but has not been part of the mainstream epistemology because it has been primarily constructed for whatever reason between this concept of either or. And that's what I.
Any comment?
No, of course it is. Just I would like now to like the doctor not take the pills, no. Usually, at one moment of the discussion, people say, usually, at the end the problem is we love, but we need more love, and if we, no, you said, but just to say, and with love everything it is fixed. My dear friends, the problem is, on my point of view, very much more deep, because even the love of whom we speak is not so clear. For me, not the love just hands by hands. I love you because you love me, and we love together. We can do your politics with this. You can do a performance. You can go to the, to show a movie. You can do a movie, but not politics. So it means that this is like at the same time you can do with equality, cutting heads because everybody has to be the same than the other. Identity same. We need. On the other hand, I know a lot of people that love poor if they are very far from their house, but they are at home. They're probably with the son, with the daughter, with the mother-in-law usually. So it means that there is something, not something that of course is emotional, psychological. What Rielo want to say can become this not only a psychology of politics, but a metaphysics of politics. Can we build on strong ground, on strong structure, strong basis, a new paradigm? Of course, new paradigm doesn't mean that we will be with the yellow spots, aliens like from Mars. We'll be human beings. But in the long process of history, there is something new. We cannot go back to the kings. We cannot go back. Ancien regime, impossible. But where to go? Next step. And the only point I wanted to say, this is the reason, because maybe one of the reasons, beware, because my dear brothers and sisters, every time that there is a new step, the step is done with blood, sweat, and tears, and tolls, and a lot of. We have to do this. We have to defend the humanity. We cannot permit now that people is going to die. For me, I prefer to be a slave, not free, but with no murder at my home. No. At the end, I want to say. So we have to defend the humanity. It is just an urgent issue. That's what.
Thank you. Last questions? Yes. Okay. This last two. Okay. Both of you. Let's start with you.
Well, I had a question about both of you mentioned the importance of defining the person or individual. In first defining it for who? For the church, for academia, for the common person, especially as we're talking about systems becoming more informal, then it should be a definition that should be enter into those informal systems. And in creating this definition, how do we deal with relativism, which is part of this mentality revolution? Because we're currently in a culture of complete relativism where there's no absolute truth, everything is subjective truth. How to combat that in forming this definition?
Well, I give you an example. It's a very practical and real need. For instance, when you talk with a psychiatrist, I have been talking with many of them. I'm not a patient for the moment. Probably in the near future. What do they say? Brilliant doctors. I do not have a model of person. I do not have a systematic way of treating people. Sometimes I use psychoanalysis, sometimes I use behaviorist concept of person, sometimes I use pills, but I have no idea. I just try. This is not science, even though they have some results, no? So this is very, very important in practical issues. Let's go to education. It's exactly the same. I'll give you another example. In Madrid, the best school with all the means, wonderful teachers, is the biggest disaster in education. Why? Because 71% of the students have families in a very difficult situation. Many of them are rich people, wealthy people. No problem. Middle class people, no problem, no economical problem. So the problem is that when you are in the field of education, in the field of medicine, in the field of development, in the field of human sciences, in the field of law, you really need to consider the whole reality of human beings. This is a need. It's not theory. It's not